Hey, this is Bugsy, and I reviewed a bunch of pro demos to teach you how to play Astra on Split, her highest pick rate map in the recent NA qualies. Just like last time, I'm going to break this guide down into 4 mini sections. First, we'll analyze star placement with graphs and maps just like last time. Then we'll talk about how pros use the Astra Ult. After that, we'll talk about some special ability combos for you to use. And then finally, we'll look at some SoloQ tips that let me carry teams in high elo. One part of Astra's kit that lets you steal ideas directly from the pros is her pre-round setup. I've watched a few pro Astra games on Split and noted the pre-round star placement of the pros. This time, I only recorded setups on full buy rounds to reduce variance from cheese eco-round strats. Let's look at defense first. On defense, Astra averages exactly 4 pre-round stars placed. Pros generally keep the 5th star to react to plays, for example so they could re-smoke a spot quickly if needed. Looking at the graph and map, we can see where pro Astras including Supamen, Skadoodle, Bang, and ZachaREEEE place their stars. On gun rounds, you can see them place a star for B main, one for mid, and then one for A, essentially every round. From there, you have some free choice with your last pre-round star. Depending on how you will play, you generally want to double up one of your previous stars to support the weakest site. If your trash Cypher can't hold B, consider supporting him with your spare star by placing it pillar. Or, if for some reason you can't hold A, try placing your additional star Hell. On attack, you can see that pros average fewer pre-round stars at 3.05. The way to attack is to place 2 to 3 stars mid, because mid is extremely important on Split. Then, you can maybe place 1 to help with a B main take. You should almost always put these ropes and male stars that let you smoke ropes and suck defenders if they try fighting mid from male. Note that you're going to want to pop these stars when you are taking mid. Don't mindlessly smoke and suck instantly every round. Especially with the increased cooldown, your suck is valuable, so if your team is taking B main early, suck there instead. Before we get into our second section, I'd like to quickly remind you that we talked about the star economy and placement on Ascent last time, which we won't cover now because it's the same across maps. If you'd like to see that video, I have it linked as a card in the top right now. Anyways, let's look at how pros use Astra Ults. The Astra Ult is notoriously difficult to get right and requires a lot of experience. As Fnatic's Boaster puts it,
when should you use your Astra ult? Honestly, it's really hard to do a good Astra ult. Like, sometimes it's nicer to do it in clutches, because the Astra ult helps the enemy team just as much as it helps you, you know? Like, it's actually, like, it's hard to have a good ult. So I think it's one of the worst ulties. It's not the worst, but I think it's up there in the worst ulties, in my opinion. Just because it's so difficult to use it sometimes. It's so situational.
Essentially, you don't want to just use it like a smoke or viper wall, because you give enemies an opportunity to get a kill and then quickly duck behind it, making them untradeable. Astra's ult is almost always better used in a clutch or after plant site hold, where you can create odd angles that the enemy is forced to push and will not be sure where to look. I'll have some examples of what I mean playing in the background. This use is much stronger because by forcing the enemies to push through your wall, you will see them a little earlier than they see you, and you make them gamble which way to be looking. Whereas, if you use the ult to push onto site, there could already be players on your side of the ultimate that are essentially unaffected, or in the worst case, you may even give them an escape route. On defense, popping Astra's util is quite simple. You're going to want to suck this A star on contact. This will both stop a push and is super strong because of all the angles your team can peek it from. From there, you just want to listen to comms and watch the minimap. If your sage wall breaks mid, smoke it and maybe even place another star there to help. If your B player starts yelling about a B take, again smoke it and suck when you see them start to show up on the map. On attack, the plan is quite different. You're going to want to use your mid stars to help you take mid control and deny info. Note that just because you take mid doesn't mean you need to go heaven or ropes. It is still powerful to push them off mid, then take a site. This is because rotates will be slower. Other than that, you will just want to use your remaining stars on the fly for a site take.
One enemy remaining. Nice.
Nice.
Finally, let's look at some strong stars and cheese strats that can help you win rounds in SoloQ. First, we'll look at stun-suck combos. You can often combine your stun and suck in a line to confuse defenders like this. In this case, if anyone holds heaven, you should have a free kill. The next tip is lurking or fakes. Astra has strong lurk and fake potential since you can place your stars anywhere. You could, for example, place your stars for your team to take A while you are mid, then catch rotators while you go up heaven or ropes late. But just keep in mind that this is only something to be used once or twice a map, because as soon as you do it, the enemies will be cognizant of the possibility. Overall, you're going to want to place a star at each choke pre-round on defense, place them mid-early on attack, and use your global map abilities to help your teammates even when you're not nearby. I hope this guide helped, and would appreciate feedback and likes if it did. Considering the positive response on the last guide, I'm planning on doing one of these for each map. Thanks for watching. Feel free to ask questions or request the next map in description. Bye!
Oh, yo.
On
Good
site,
stars.
Heaven. You wait, sucks. Oh.
1 HP site, 1 HP.
Nice.
Oh my god.